Hello, my name is Sarah Nadler. I'm a consultant and trainer here at Silkin Management Group, and today I wanted to talk to you about how to boost your staff's morale. Right now, we're running into a very odd situation where, in some cases, your staff can make more on unemployment than they can in your practice. Strange, right? So, if you're running into that situation or having staff feel disgruntled or complaining about having to come back to work, then you probably have a staff morale problem. This is something I'm going to be teaching you how to fix in this video. All right, now the first thing to understand is what morale really is. Again, those kinds of complaints where the person doesn't really feel like they want to come back or they're nervous about it, those are coming from a place of low morale. So before you can actually do anything about it, you're going to have to understand what morale really is. Morale, a confident, resolute, willing, often self-sacrificing and courageous attitude of an individual to the functions or tasks demanded or expected of them by a group of which they are a part. So let's break that down. Confident. Your staff have to feel confident in what they're doing and feel confident about you as a leader, which we'll get into in a minute. Resolute, meaning they've made up their mind. They're actually going to go ahead and do this. Willing, that's a big one. Often self-sacrificing and courageous attitude. As you can see, right, if your staff are not feeling that way about their job or about your practice, they don't have high morale. So let's talk about what makes morale. How do you actually increase it? Well, morale is based on productivity, meaning you have to have some personal pride in what you're doing before you could ever have good morale. Now, that right there should show you exactly what's wrong when your staff are making complaints like that about, I don't really want to come back to work, right? Or feeling disgruntled or low-toned about it. The reason why is because, look, in the past, you had them being very productive. They had probably a lot of high morale and a lot of self-pride in their achievements in your practice. And then what happened? You had to lay them off, right? You had to close your practice or shut it down for the time being, and that morale just started to go out the bottom, right? It's a dwindling spiral because the less they produce, the lower the morale is, and then the lower the morale is, the less they want to produce. So it's kind of, like I said, a difficult situation to get out of unless you understand the next couple of points about morale. So let's go into those. The second ingredient for morale is belief in the aims of the group. Meaning, if I strongly believe that what your practice is trying to accomplish in society is important to me personally, I'll be willing to come up with actual ideas of how to make it work, right? That self-sacrificing attitude that you love so much when your staff are willing to work a little harder, or willing to work a little extra, those all come from a place of having a belief in your aims. Now, how do you accomplish that? Well, the first step is to have a mission statement. Right? Not just a glorified tagline, but a genuine mission. Remember, you're not trying to reopen your practice so that you can sell shoes, right? You're trying to actually increase people's health or save the lives of pets, right? That's the purpose of your practice. So helping your staff remember the reason why your practice is important will actually boost their morale. All right, number 3, faith in its leadership and ultimate success. Now think about this for a second. If I don't have faith in you as a leader, how likely am I to be self-sacrificing, right? How likely am I to have high morale if I don't really believe that you know what you're doing? That's not going to help very much. So it's important to exude confidence as a leader and actually show them that you know what you're doing, which means doing your research so you actually know what direction you're going as a practice, even in times like this of crisis, right? So if they feel like their job is on wobbly ground because they don't know that your practice is going to survive this, they're a lot less likely to have high morale. So you have to show them that you have a plan, which means you actually have to create one. And again, that's something we obviously can help you with. All right, number 4, a sense of fruitful personal participation. This really comes down to, are you only correcting your staff when they do something wrong and failing to point out when they're doing something right? Right? It's just as important to be able to recognize rightness as it is to recognize wrongness. And that's one of the ways that you can, again, boost your staff's morale, is point out when they are making targets or when they are doing a little bit extra for each other or for you. All right, and lastly, devotion and loyalty to other members of the group. This is a big one. So think about it for a second. What can you do to actually boost the morale of your staff Well, one of the things you can do is encourage them to socialize with each other, actually get to know each other, maybe even outside of the practice. Because to the degree that they form a tight-knit unit, they're going to be a lot more powerful as a team. So there you go. There's just some tips you can use to actually boost your staff's morale at this time, all right? I'm going to give you a couple more tips here. And these are rules about morale. The first one is difficult experiences don't necessarily lower morale. That could be surprising for some, but think about it. You take these soldiers and you put them through boot camp, which is grueling physically and emotionally and mentally. And at the end of it, they have higher morale and they've knit themselves together as a team, right? Because they went through something together and they've learned to trust and rely upon each other. Now, this does not mean I recommend that you turn your practice into a boot camp. Bad idea, right? That's not the vibe that I think is going to work for you. But what I am saying is that times like this, where there's a crisis going on, can actually bring your team together if you do what I said in the previous slide, okay? So don't have the attitude that there's nothing you can do about it. Don't have the belief system that crisis is going to hurt your staff's morale, because it's just not true. All right, and the last rule I'm going to share with you is this. The key to morale is reality. Remember we talked about the ARC triangle in your previous workshops? This really is a perfect example of that. Reality means agreement, things upon which we both think are real, right? So talking about things that you know will increase your staff's reality, not talking about things that you know are going to be wildly out of reality to them, right? Like I'm canceling all bonuses forevermore. That would probably be something they wouldn't totally agree with. But hey, look guys, I need you to hit these certain targets, and once you've done so, we're going to be bringing back bonuses with a vengeance. Now that's something that they can probably have and would increase their morale and their productivity, right? So really focusing on how can I word things, how can I express things, how can I even, right? Actions speak louder than words. How can I demonstrate and set the example myself in a way that matches my staff's reality? Do that as much as you can, because that's going to be key to having high staff morale. All right, now I hope you found this video helpful. I would like to say that there is a lot more training like this inside the executive system here at Silkin. So reach out to us, ask Kathy Korb how we can help you with some video training right now. I'll talk to you guys soon.